Okay, so hello everyone again, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on World War Three, how it will play out, why it will play out, and if it will play out. And so what I'm going to say first is that I think that the main powers of World War Three first is gonna be, of course, the USA, and then the second one, Russia. And so I think that these two are going to be the people that are going to start World War Three, and I think that World War Three will be a real world class war, because with the other wars they were called World War, but they weren't really war. For example, in World War One it was only in Europe, and in World War Two it was in Europe and a small fight in Japan between USA and Japan after Pearl Harbor. And so I think that this is going to have everyone. So I think that later on, let's write this. Later on, China is going to be involved due to the recent developments with Trump and China, that he put the ban on the Chinese products, and also the new Huawei ban. And so I think that China is going to try to fight for its rights to sell their stuff in the USA without without having to pay more. And so China is going to later join, and of course India is going to join too, because it's just under China. There's India, so India is going to feel the effects of the war. And the main war, I think, is going to be between these two, because let's use some colors here between these two, because they have the most people. And so this is going to be more of a war of attrition, just like in World War One. So it's going to see many deaths, and I think that the world's population after this fight is going to be of 1 billion less. So we're going to be at 5 billion. But this is not going to be the main factor, because China and India will fight themselves, and no outside influence is really going to become in effect or change the tides of this fight. So they're just going to be left there to fight. USA and Russia will have some sort of cold war at first, while China and India fight. They're just going to race to the arms and create new weapons, because Russia now has the power to drop a bomb on America without it noticing. So I think it's going to be mostly about technological advancements, because we know that the war economy brings a lot of mm, uh, of upgrades. Let's call it that, because I can't find the word. So the main part of this conflict is going to be this one, and I think honestly that it will start in around 15 or 20 years, because the what Trump is doing now will have its toll on China, and will need the China to fight India in around in 15 years, because if you bring a tax, it's not going to change everything right on the spot, but there has to be time. So there has to be time. And so, okay, this part of the conflict is, as I said, in the first part. And meanwhile, in the second part, there is going to be France, the Gilets jaunes, if that's what they call. You can really see it well. Gilets jaune. And I think that these revolutions that are happening now will start at a way larger scale, and will have all of France fighting. And I think this will lead into the French population, the anarchy that the Gilets jaunes have created to become somewhat of a new state, not a new state, but let's call it a new France. And France is later going to attack the 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 the, the countries around it. So the first one that it will attack, it will be Germany, of course, because we have to remember that Germany conquered France in World War II. So you can see this as a sort of revenge from the French population, and this will lead other countries into fighting with Germany to to stop France. So I think that after a long fight, this is going to be another fight for attrition in the line between Germany and France, just like in World War One. And because there will be a ban on the most advanced weapons, because otherwise there will be too many deaths too easily. And but there's still going to be projects, secret projects working on weapons like there were in the other wars. And I think this is all for the from our countries. And so let's do this for 1 second and make it smaller and put it here so we can leave this part for later. What we can do is also change the color of this, something that can be seen. Okay, so now we can see better. And okay, it works. So this part is going to be like this for the first part. The second part is that the African and the northern African states are going to fight for revolution, just like the Gilets jaunes, but they will fight against the oppressors. There was the jihadist community. So this, it depends. It could be seen as something positive. I see it as something negative because it would just bring to more deaths, since this will lead to many missiles launched and many deaths caused. So we have North Africa. North Africa, of course, we mean Libya and all the northern countries. So against ISIS. No, let's do this black. ISIS. And I think that the northern African states are going to win because they are way more, and ISIS is just unorganized as a whole. It's not really organized. We can see if they were organized, they would have done way more. But ever since Gaddafi, they killed Gaddafi. French people killed Gaddafi for the money that he had left here in Europe and cheaper petrol. They have been going wild. There's no Gaddafi anymore to keep them down. And so the winner is going to be... Oops, this doesn't look very good. I'm sorry. The winner is going to be Northern Africa, and the losers will be ISIS. So this part of the conflict now is resolved. It's not going to happen. Anything else is going to happen. Then in Central and Southern Africa, I don't think that anything is going to happen, because even if during tough times they have found an equilibrium, so they're not going to fight each other. Maybe in another war in the future, but not for now. Now I think that Japan may stay out of this. It depends on whether China and India's conflict carries over to them. And so I think that Japan is mostly going to stay away from the war. And now we have one of the most important parts that is talked about a lot recently is North Korea. And now I think North Korea is not going to be part of the war, because Kim Jong-un will be surely assassinated in some years, in some way, and America will come and create a capitalist regime like they tried to do in Vietnam, but this time they will actually do it, and hopefully without committing war crimes. So North Korea is completely out of the picture. It's now a peaceful state, and I think that maybe it will fuse with South Korea so that it will become Korea once again. Hopefully, I hope this, because this will make everything better. And now in the northern part of the globes, like Canada, and I think that Canada is going to assist the USA in the war with Russia, because it doesn't make sense for them not to help us. They are in the same country almost. And in the northern Russia, in the Greenland and places like that, I don't think that anything is going to happen, because they're mostly isolated and nobody wants those countries, and nothing really ever happens. So there's that. And now onto the second and final part. Now China and India have destroyed each other, so there has been a truce between China and India, so they are out of the war now. But who's going to come to arms is Russia and America. This is not going to be a Cold War anymore, so the fight will result in a wasteland, something like a fallout of the nuclear accidents, because they're going to attack each other. USA is going to see that it cannot win, so it's going to launch bombs, and at the same time Russia is going to launch the bombs too, and this will lead to a mass genocide. So I'm sure, I'm 90% sure I'm correct, but I hope for the 10% that this is incorrect. And so there is not going to be really a winner. There is going to be a decreasing population. We're going back to, I say, 4 billion people. So there will be some, you could call it a mass extinction, because more than 3 billion people will die. This is an astounding number, and many civilians, because this nuclear war killed millions and billions of civilians, not really millions, even more. So there is not going to be any real winner, no winner in both sides, and this is mostly, this is going to spell the end. It's going to be like a forced truce between Russia and USA, knowing that they cannot fight anymore, or otherwise they will wipe out the planet. And so this is how it will end, with Russia and the USA stopping the war between each other, because the other wars had already ended. I just hope for a better future, that we can reconstruct everything better. So I'm going to write the order of things here that happen. Because now I hope for a new world order that is going to, a new world order between the nations that is going to completely remove the nukes, all of the nukes, each and every one of them, even the secret ones, because even after the START treaty, nuclear warheads were reduced to around 3,000, but they were still too much. They're still too much. 3,000 is too much. That need to be known, because this is too dangerous. War itself is dangerous, but this makes it even worse. So new world order, no nukes. And I just hope that we can strive for peace after this war, for real this time, because the Second World War didn't really bring any peace. It just stopped when all the massacre was done, and the USA and Russia started the Cold War anyway, so its meaning is completely meaningless. And USA later started killing people in North African countries to bring democracy and things like that. So I think there is going to be people thinking about what happened up until now, because if we study history to understand it, and so that we do not repeat the same mistakes. Say thank you for listening to this video. I think this one is going to be, it was a bit longer than usual, but I hope you can somehow watch it. You can just watch it like 5 minutes once, then after 1 hour another 5 minutes, and like this. So I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you for listening to me as always, guys. If you have any questions or want to talk about anything, you can just send me a message on YouTube, or just use the YouTube comment section. I'm fine. I don't have many subscribers, so I can still see how many people talk. And see you in the next video, everyone.